Hey everyone, this is Ali from Bleed From Within, and you are watching/listening to Pollution Nocturne.
Oh yeah les pollués, bienvenue sur le Pollution Nocturne TV. On est ensemble aujourd'hui pour une interview exceptionnelle puisque j'ai avec moi Ali de Bleed From Within et on a l'opportunité grâce à Anaïs de Songs-Like-Elle de voir cette interview. Merci beaucoup Anaïs et tout de suite je me retourne vers Ali. Hi Ali. My English is Duolingo level 2 or 3, so I hope you will understand it.
My French is Duolingo level 0, so yeah, I know. Parlez-vous anglais? I go, je ne comprends pas. Parlez-vous anglais? And if they say no, I say merde, and then that's me.
I understand everything. Welcome in Lyon, the gastronomy capital.
Is it really the gastronomy? Is this the capital?
French, yeah, in France. We are very good.
Yes, loads of cheese and red wine, chateauneuf de pape, this other stuff. Yeah, I had a really good meal last night at a place called Armada in the historic part of the city. I went on the Michelin guide, and there was loads of restaurants, and I thought I have to try one of these places, you know. So Armada, that place was very, very good.
Publicité, Armada.
Well, look, I got to explore your city last night. I went a long walk. I've played in Lyon many times over the years, but this was the first time I got to go and see the centre, and it was beautiful. I went up to the Basilica, the Four Vier, yeah. So I went there, and there's a little restaurant next door, and I had a glass of wine and looked out over Lyon just as the sun was setting, and it was beautiful. And then I walked through the streets, and I have a lot of time for the French cities. I used to travel with my parents quite a lot, and when I was younger, we had friends in Switzerland, so we would drive through France. Yeah. So I grew up. I grew up experiencing a lot of different French cities and stuff like that, and it has a special place in my heart.
To speak a little bit about your last album, Zenith, a month ago, how did the public receive it, and how did you play it on scene?
Yes, we're playing a lot of songs from the album on this tour, and honestly the best received album that we've done so far. I think there was kind of a lot of pressure. I think people had high hopes. I think the fans had hopes, and then we did a tour with Slipknot at the end of last year, which was massive for the band's profile, and we attracted a lot of new fans there. So I think everyone was kind of waiting to see what are they going to do. We follow the same procedure every album. We always want to try and improve and better ourselves, and we are incredibly picky. We hold ourselves to a very, very high standard. We've still never worked with a producer fully, so we just produce our own music. We work with different mixing engineers and mastering engineers, and we record our drums with people and stuff, but the overall sound and music is made by us, and I think that's testament to our stubbornness, I will say. So we're very particular. So yeah, Zenith, we just had to try and raise the bar from Shrine, which we were really proud of, and it seems like we've done a good job. The fans are happy. We're really happy with how the songs are received, and yeah, it's doing amazing things for us on this tour. We're very happy with everything to do with the album.
You said you did the first part of the Slipknot show, and now you are on top of the affiche today. Is it the same approach when you do a first part and now a show, or another show, or?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting dynamic. I mean, it's something that we've spoken about on this tour, because these are like the biggest rooms, the most amount of people we've played to on a headline tour. So on a headline tour, we have a full crew. We had a full crew with Slipknot as well, but we've got a really good crew on this tour, and we have loads of time. So we get to wake up, we get to do our day jobs, we get to go to the gym, we get to go and explore, we come back, we sound check, and then we have 5 hours to ourselves. Yeah. We can go for dinner, gastronomic capital of the world, we can go out in Lyon, we've got all this time, and it's great. And then when you go out on stage, everyone's paid to see you, so there's an element of we're still really hungry and we're trying to get people, but at the same time they're there to see you. On the flip side of it, when you're the opening band, majority of the people have probably never heard of you. You're a new band to them and a new face. So I'd say when we, especially on Slipknot, when we went out there, it was we are a fucking hungry band. You know, we've been going for a long time, but there's a passion that we have that is we kind of wear on our sleeves. You know, it's very obvious when you see us live in any capacity, but especially when you're in front of 10,000 people that have never heard your band before, you're like, you should fucking listen to us, you know? So there's an aggression there, I think, that kind of comes out. But yeah, both situations are really fun. It's just a slightly different dynamic or approach. You know, headline, it's kind of like, we've put a lot of work in, here we are, we get to enjoy this. And for the supports, it's a bit like, you know, you have to shout at people and say, take notice.
Metalcore, deathcore exists in a lot of time, but we noticed that a few years there is an explosion of metalcore, deathcore bands. Did you notice that?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I think some of the sort of genre leaders at this point, you know, Lorna Shore, you've got Sleep Token, you've got Bad Omens, you've your kind of Architects and Bring Me, who have been around for a long time, right enough. But, you know, these bands now, I think it's just a really exciting time to be in heavy music, you know. I think what we're seeing now is something that I've been talking about for a few years, which is the changing of the guard, you know. It's like your bands like Metallica or Rammstein or, you know, AC/DC, you know, everyone that was like the sort of top. These guys are now stopping touring or they're slowing down, and the promoters for all the big festivals, they have to start thinking of who's the next wave. So I'll Bring Me, Architects, these bands are getting that chance to headline festivals now, and it's the famous saying is a rising tide lifts all boats, you know. So I think with that change of the guard, bands like us, bands like the ones I just mentioned, but all of us who have been doing it for a long time and been kind of chipping away, we also feel that pull. So yeah, it's an exciting time, I think, to be making heavy music.
You mentioned some metalcore bands, but there is one I know very important for you is Cyberzis.
Oh yeah.
What is your relationship with Cyberzis?
Well, I've been in the band for 11 years now, so yeah, I mean, I love working with Josh. We've been making music now for a long time. You know, he's such a talented guitarist, producer, songwriter, mixer. Now he mixes all the albums and stuff, and he's got a great creative vision, man, and it's just fun to be a part of. It's a very different, I say very different, it's a slightly different dynamic, you know. Bleed From Within was the band I started when I was a teenager, and I kind of fell into Silosis when I was a little bit older. But both bands like scratch an itch for me. I love to play drums, I love heavy music, so for me, I just get to tour and travel and do my thing, you know. I'm given that opportunity. So yeah, but Silosis, it really means a lot to me. We've been chipping away at some new music and stuff like that, and I think the next few years are going to be very busy for me with two bands.
Since the COVID, the way to listening music, buying music, consume has changed.
Definitely, yeah.
For listeners, but for groups too. Did you notice that? Did you include this way taking care of algorithm to compose music? Did you care of that?
I wouldn't say we cared too much about it, but we definitely noticed the change. You know, I think COVID, life just seems to move a lot faster post-COVID. You know, I think COVID, you said the word consume. I've been saying this a lot as well recently over the last few years, that I think the way at which the rate at which people consume music, you know, you put out a new song and then 2 months later it's an old song, you know. It's because people have it on 5 different, you know, you've got it on Apple Music, you've got it on Deezer, you've got it on Spotify, you've got it on Tidal, you've got it on YouTube. You're just getting hit with it on all the social media channels, and then eventually you're like, nah, that's done. And it's on to the next album. Then people expect that new thing constantly. So that doesn't impact our kind of writing process or anything. I think that would take away from quite a lot of the music that's important to us, and what we make is, or what we want to make is like timeless metal. That's what inspires us. Pantera, Metallica, Lamb of God, Slipknot, these bands that have stood the test of time. That's what inspires us, you know, not stuff that's just kind of flash in the pan. Oh, let's do that because it's a gimmick or it's catchy, or like we just want to grab people's attention. For us, the song is a bigger idea than that. But yeah, I think it's been an interesting shift in watching how people, the demands of the audience or the fans, I think in this day and age. And I notice it myself. I'm still a fan of metal. I'm still on Spotify. I'm still whatever, and I hear something, and I'm like, "Oh, that band released something a few months ago, right?" And they're like, "No, it was only a couple of weeks ago." And I was like, "Oh shit, really? It's gone by that fast." So yeah, I think it's in 2025 as a creative, I think it's hard work to stay on top of that, to stay relevant, and to stay at the forefront of your fans' attentions and new fans' attention for sure.
Do you think that the video is important too? Because maybe you will much watch music like listening to music.
Video is such an important part of it, I believe. I think not even just for if you can get a big budget music video, then it kind of changes people's perception of your band as well. But also the visual storytelling of the song, I think, is important. I think it always has a place. The difficulty with that now is videos are so fucking expensive. And I don't think a lot of people realise this, but in order to make a good video at the standard that, just speaking on Bleed's perspective, but I've spoken to many bands who are friends of ours, and I'm like, "How much was your video?" And they tell me, and I'm like, "Oh God, that's so bad." And they're like, "Oh, how much was this one?" And I tell them, and they're like, "Fuck, that's so brutal." It's like, it's one of the hardest things to get funding for from a label and stuff like that. So yeah, I love putting together a visual accompaniment to the song, but it's hard work and it's very expensive. So if you do see a video that you like from a band, just take a minute to appreciate how expensive it was and how much time and effort that took,
How you put the like.
And like it, for sure. Yeah, like it and buy their fucking thing so they can get more money for the next one, That's very important.
We are going to speak about the tour of this year. So I think we are in the middle of...
Well, towards the end now, yeah, we're kind of... Oh, no, yeah, we're just past the halfway point. Yeah.
How is the tour?
It's completely blown us away. I manage the band as well, so I work for the management company, and for the last 10 or 11 months maybe, I've just been refreshing these ticket sales every week, and I've just been like, "Oh, what's going? Where are the trends? Where do we need to put ads, and where do we need to do the work and all this?" And then eventually you get to a point where you're like, "Right, I've done everything I can. I just have to accept this is what's coming." And then, we were still in a really good place there, but now, we're approaching 80% sold across the full tour.
Yeah.
It's by far the most successful headline we've ever done by like leaps and bounds. We're selling like 3 or 4 times the amount of tickets that we did 3 years ago, which is... It's insane, We've worked. We formed the band, I think, in 2004. We had our first gig in 2005. So this is also our 20-year anniversary of doing this. And I'm only 36 now, so we've been doing it for a very long time. We started when we were very young, and to see this kind of pay off now is very rewarding. I think after this amount of time, it's been very overwhelming and very, very cool to see. And this means a lot. I mean, playing in Lyon now, and see we have over 600 people here tonight. The last time we played in Lyon, we played a really small room. I can't remember what it's called, but it was like 200 capacity.
What?
Yeah, it was. But I think we remember that show being really, really good, very high energy with the audience and stuff like that. But it was a sweatbox, and it was 200 cap. So we were coming back, and we were like, "What are we going to do here?" And then to come into this room today and just be like, 3 years have passed, but this is the leap that's happened. And then Toulouse tomorrow looks very good, and then Paris, we're playing Bataclan, which a very iconic venue, and obviously for some terrible reasons as well. Obviously what happened. So that it's a very significant show, and yeah, France has been kind to us. But yeah, in answer to your question, the tour has been amazing. Very cool to see.
You will finish the tour with 2 memorable dates in Glasgow, sold out. So how did you manage with that?
I don't know. Honestly, I mean, we
finish the tour at home.
Well, we always do this. Whenever we do a headline tour, we tell our booking agent we have to finish in Glasgow, and they basically work backwards from that, which is kind of fun. But we like to finish around our friends and family, and we like to have a drink in Glasgow with everyone. So I would hate to play a show the next day. But yeah, Glasgow, that one's so special, man. We did our last headline show was at the Garage in Glasgow, which is around 800 capacity, and we sold this out in 2021. So it's been 4 years since we headlined there, and taking the jump up to the Barrowlands, which is 1,900 capacity, was a big step. And our promoter at the time was like, let's see how you get on, you know. And we sold the first one out in 3 weeks, and he says, I think you could do another night. And I was like, his name's Dunk, right? Duncan. I says, Duncan, it's a Monday. We're doing the Sunday night sold out, but you want us to add a second night on the Monday. Another 19, and he's like, do you think, I'm not sure we could do it. And he just, you know, he convinced me, and he was like, I wouldn't tell you to do it if I didn't think you could. And he gave me the final push, and eventually we said, yeah, let's go for it. And we sold it out 3 weeks ago. So that's now like 3,800 people over 2 nights in our hometown. It's a dream come true. It's one of our favourite venues in the entire world. It's such a cultural thing in Glasgow and in Scotland. It holds so much significance to us and all of our friends and family. It used to be like a ballroom back in the day. Like our parents would go there and dance the night away and stuff like that. It's going to be a very, very special end to a very special tour, for sure.
We're going to finish with this interview. Can I ask you, what do you listen today? What group is in your Spotify playlist or Apple Music playlist?
Man, it's been the same guy for the last few years, and it's not metal. It's a multi-instrumentalist called Jordan Rakai. He's originally from New Zealand, but he lives in London. He kind of does this neo-soul kind of funk jazz stuff, and I've seen him live like 3 times, and it's up there with like Tool, Meshuggah. For me, in terms of like just watching a live band and just the way that it makes you feel, he's one of the best musicians you'll ever see, one of the greatest voices. So if you like your music funky and emotional and all that shit, then check out Jordan Rakai. Yeah, but if you wanted something heavy, I don't know, the new Bleed From Within album's pretty good. I would check out that.
Okay.
Zenith. Yeah.
One, two, three, jump.